Hello, and welcome back, my wonderful tome readers, as we continue. Please be happy. Last time, we left off, potentially in the middle, potentially in the end of an event where Miho is going through Te Papa, one of the museums in Wellington, New Zealand, which currently has an exhibit on Korea. And she's looking through and seeing things that are culturally familiar from the centuries ago that she was last there. And we left off on a piece of art that seemed to be just stressing her, but also opening her eyes to how people viewed her. I mean, she's just Fox Girl with a single tail, but there's a piece of, not tapestry, but like painted fabric that was probably stretched over a frame or something, depicting a fox with multiple tails and a woman, the same 9 tails that it had, and just off to the side where the depiction has been torn, signs of someone's boots and blood pooling. Someone from the description who's laying down, not standing. She's descriptions here like, here it is, the boots with the pool of blood. Now, second look at the woman. There's also blood around her lips and dripping on the ground beneath her claws. And just like her, bone white bead hanging from a string around her neck, though it is glowing like a moon. And realizing why people were rude to her in the past. These depictions that painted Gumiho like her in an aggressive, murderous light. How even decades after the fabled human war, that the aggression was lowered, but still present. Dirty looks instead of harsh words, and the harshest of words still there, though only when she was caught in a crime. And shortly after that, she kept looking through this exhibit until she came across this manuscript of sorts with very familiar writing. So familiar, in fact, just for this, she said she could almost smell it through the glass. Presumably, this was also written by her special person. It's at the very least what she believes. And yeah, this is likely going to be an emotional moment. As I said, the little invites sent out in the Discords and on Blue Sky, this is likely going to be the reveal that has been some time coming. It hinted at by the faces of her friends when she mentions the special person she met in Korea before she started turning into a fox girl, back when she was still just a fox, centuries ago. And if this special person was merely a human like she believes, I think we all know that they are no longer with her. Centuries and centuries ago, likely died. So we're starting off emotional, which only means that the rest of the stream can only go up. So let's tarry on. I press my hands against the glass. This is the closest I've been in hundreds of years. After centuries of looking, I finally...
Hey, no touching!
I leap backwards as someone shouts. I look around, see a woman wearing a badge and a museum t-shirt stalking towards me angrily. The instincts I thought I'd buried kick in. It's time to run. Backing up, I look around for a getaway route, but there isn't one. I'm surrounded on almost all sides by cases. The only open direction is one the attendant is approaching from. think there has to be a way out of this. Did I just jump over the displays? No, they're way too tall. Maybe if I transformed, I could pass the attendant. I have no idea how to navigate this building, though. And Pink Fox would attract way too much attention in a place like this. If I wait for them to get close, then I could probably run right past them, like the security guard. And I first arrived in Wellington. Heart racing, my panic must show on her face because they stop a couple meters away from me, frowning.
Hey, it's not that big a deal. Just please keep your hands off in the future.
Hello, Barango. Welcome, welcome. The sound was a little weird there. It sounded doubled up, at the very least for the book impacts. But how you doing? You ready to have your just heart ripped out your chest? Because if you weren't here a couple minutes ago, I'm pretty sure this is the moment when she finds out that her special person that she had known centuries ago and believes to be human, that she's known since before she could turn into a fox girl and was just a fox, is dead. They recognize the handwriting, well, calligraphy, or like, so well that she could almost smell that familiar smell of the scroll she has kept safe all this time. Whew. It's a sad start to a stream, but that only means the story can only get happier in the next few hours, right? We can hope. With a shrug, they turn around, leave me alone. That's it. Leave Thorn, there's been a title drop. Let's see, title. Like they referenced the, well, not referenced, they used the same words that is the title Leaf and Thorn, or title drop like a new sub-story started? Not a spin-off. The spin-off feels like TV syndication BS. But whichever it is, enjoy. Enjoy all the, well, the fun that comes from title drops happening. It is always nice when that happens, even though it's kind of lost some of its thunder. What the MCU has done, where it feels like, yeah, the title is gonna be a cool drop in the middle of the movie, and it's just like, ugh. Or as would put it, roll credits. But congrats, I hope you're enjoying it. I think that is 11 years old at this point. Oof. Yeah, it is nice when the comics manage to keep going despite gestures at the rest of the economy. I mean, 11 years isn't exactly early internet, but it is certainly better internet than currently. Fucking no HTML3 or WebP image file type bullshit. God, sorry, I'm just restraining the rant I want to go on fucking WebP.image file types bullshit. Or give the author more material. Well, that's good. Making the most out of a horrific situation. But yeah, speaking of horrific situations, is she going to get the slap of reality that she doesn't know is coming, or not? My hands are shaking as I watch them retreat, expecting them to snap around and come after me. And of course, that doesn't happen. I'm very slowly able to relax. All I'm left feeling afterwards is a lot of embarrassment. I look around me, I'm glad there aren't many people in this area. And nobody's looked at me either, whether out of politeness or because they just didn't notice. My face is burning red, and I look down at the scrolls again, just hiding. And I sigh. Maybe it's silly of me to think that I could change myself entirely in such a short time. Considering I'd just been remembering the old days and all the abuse I went through from humans, it makes some sense. After I settle myself down a little, I turn my attention back to what's really important. While I know that these scrolls have to be from my person, they don't help me much on their own. The little card in one corner of the case, covered in text. Might have something useful written on it, but that doesn't do me any good. I can sort of try to copy it all down to have Aspen or Juliet read to me later. There's so many words, I'm not sure I could get them all. I gulp, looking over at the museum attendant, who I was so scared of just a minute ago. I do have one option. Summoning all my courage, I approach them slowly. They're just a regular person, I remind myself. Like Aspen, or Juliet, or even like me now. Just doing their job.
Excuse me?
I hope that's polite enough. And she looks over to me. Her face doesn't look annoyed, more bored.
Can I help you? I'm sorry for touching the glass. I was wondering if you could tell me a bit about those papers, like who wrote them. Like I said, it's no big deal. It's just a safety precaution so nothing gets damaged. Anyway, there's an informational plaque in the corner. It should have all those details.
They even believe me if I said I can't read? I worry that might make them even more suspicious.
Can't see very well, and the words are so small. Can you read it for me? Oh, sure. Let's see.
That was almost too easy. They don't question or analyze me at all, simply walking over and leaning in next to me.
Says here these were some of the first works by a calligrapher whose name was Jong-in in the 17th century. They were a scholar who lived in Korea and...
Tenant keeps reading, but I'm not listening. I've already got what I came for. A name. Jong-in. For the first time I have something to call them. Something that's unmistakably theirs. I pretend to listen to the rest of what's being read out loud and thank the person on autopilot when they're done. My head's not here in the present moment. It's back in the forest where I was born.
Jong-in.
Once they've walked away, I say it out loud, trying how it sounds. I think it fits them.
Jong-in. Jong-in.
I say it over and over again, make sure I'll never forget. Finally, I have something to go off. I'm a bit dazed from the enormity of the moment. Find my way downstairs and wander out of the museum. I can't wait to tell Juliet and Aspen. It's still ambiguous if the internet exists. Heck, I'm not even sure if something like cell phones have even been mentioned offhand. I'm so excited that I end up missing my turn to take me back to the library, lost in my thoughts about what will happen when I get there instead. I don't even realize I've zoned out until I reach the edge of Mount Victoria, right where the city streets turn to Parkland.
Oops. Good thing I can find my way back from here.
I'm still within that area that I visited before, so I'll be able to use the mountain as a landmark to find my way back. Home to myself, so I turn back, head abuzz with pleasant thoughts. If I give Juliet my person's name, I'm sure she can help me track them down. That's what she specializes in, after all. Or from here to go ahead, the antagonist be an AI bro and his bots. There usually isn't an antagonist. I mean, maybe not a character as an antagonist, but if there's any sort of like general plot and issues keeping someone going forward, those can still be antagonizing, if nothing else. Sorry. I'm sure Aspen will want to hear all about their life too. She loves stories, and I'm sure Jong-in will have a ton. I'm not sure how they'll feel about seeing me again. I doubt they ever expect it to happen. They'll definitely be surprised I'm not just the fox they met back then, but the person now. I have a feeling they'll at least be as glad as I am. I'm maybe halfway home before I realize that I'm not alone. The prickling sensation on the back of my neck is unmistakable. My instincts are telling me that someone else is nearby. I'm still near the mountain, but it's practically empty here. I can hear the sounds of other people in the distance, but they are all hidden by the trees and the hills. I whip my head back and forth, but try as I might, I can't work out where they are. It's a strange and disconcerting feeling, given how easily I can pick up even the smallest animals. Then, from the corner of my eye, I spot a bush slightly shuffling. Just as I turn to take a proper look, the silver fox I saw the other day steps out of it.
Oh, it's just you.
Stalked by a fox. Fops! I mean, for all we know. No, I know that's misspelling a fox, and not just calling them, not a caricature of a gay man term. Start to bend down and reach out a hand like I would to pet a dog, but hesitate. I know from experience that a fox wouldn't respond to that. I'm surprised she hasn't run away already. That's what I would have done. I don't like the music cuts out there. She stares at me without the slightest movement, her eyes locked on mine. My heart jumps as the hairs on the back of my neck stand up. Something is off. Then, without taking her eyes off of me, she starts to transform. I barely have time to be shocked as her arms and legs get longer and her fur retracts, head shrinking and changing to something more human-like. I don't think Zhang is also a fox. For one, because I would expect that to be another potential love interest if we've been looking for them for centuries. And it's just a two love interest game. But more so, I don't know, the opening sequence did not make it seem like they expected Miho to get not sentience, sapience, I guess. The intelligence of human, along with the ability to shapeshift into one. It seemed more, well, fitting the philosopher-poet type of description that we got in the museum before Miho just tuned out. But it's possible that we are not the only one whose lives were touched by them. For the first time in my life, I'm face to face with another Gumiho. My throat tightens and goes dry. My vision narrows and my ears start ringing in shock. It's as if all the world has fallen away except for me and her. Which actually raises a question. Because in the course of this game, she discovered that with the rumors of a Gumiho curse, unless it's different for each one, it's possible that everyone who meets a Gumiho forgets their description after a day. So maybe that still affects others of their kind. Who's to say? The silver and black clothes she's wearing seem to shimmer in the moonlight, like the skin of a snake waiting to strike. Hanging loosely on her frame, the wrapped fabrics around her body and face make her appear almost formless. Her only accessory is a bracelet around her wrist. It's a plain leather band, but a shining white bead is held in the middle by another loop of leather. I recognize that bead. I have one just like it. Well, almost like it. Whereas mine is a duller, milky color, hers is so bright that it almost hurts to look at. The soft blue glow around it reminds me of the full moon. It's almost like she stepped out of the painting I just saw at the museum. The shawl covers most of her face, but her hair and eyes are still visible. Those intense eyes. Her gaze reminds me of steel. While they're the same shape as mine, they're sharper, angrier, crueler. She haughtily tosses her long, flowing hair back as she takes a step towards me. I skip back, keeping the distance between us. When I lived in the forest, I knew to flee when I met a predator stronger than I was. Better to get away alive than risk my life for pride. My survival instinct tells me that this is one of those times. The other Gumiho laughs, but there's no humor in it. Sharp and hollow, it only makes me more uneasy.
So, the human pet still knows when to run.
Rude.
The human... what? Pet. I've been watching you for a while. Ever since you came to this place, actually. Watched you demean and domesticate yourself for the sake of humans. It's pathetic. When you first arrived, I was hopeful that we might be alike. Optimistic, even. I was a fool. I see you now for what you are. Nothing better than a dog, begging for its master's affection and table scraps.
Bitch, we just met you.
We are not the same. We are nothing alike.
I don't quite like this accusation, because it's not like we, said we were. It's like we're not trying to treat her like a long-lost sister or some such. Her words hang in the air, poisoning my good mood from just moments ago. My first instinct is to run away, as usual. Something stops me, though. I'm entranced. The novelty of this experience, of finally meeting another Gumiho, keeps me rooted in place despite my fear. No matter what she's like, this is the closest I've ever been to someone like me. I swallowed the lump in my throat and hope my voice doesn't shake as much as I think it will.
So what? Did you ambush me just to say that? Ambush? You should have known weeks ago that I was following you.
I mean, from the sound of, the time skip, it didn't sound like we were really leaving the library too often. So it's not like we were hard to follow.
But I repeat myself. You've numbed yourself to your instincts. And your potential. I saw you in that place of memories. Saw you gaze upon the portrait of one of our sisters. I hoped that you would open your eyes, as you haven't before. It pains me to see your existence do disservice to our very kind. Now that you have seen what you could and should be, perhaps you can still change yourself, dog. Sharpen your teeth and claws once more. These creatures that you bind yourself to, those human and those not, they are but shackles, slowly squeezing away at which is wild and free in you.
Is she not aware the war ended, forever ago between humans and Fable? It's like, you don't have to some people get along. That doesn't mean you have to be such a dick.
Do not mistake my words for sympathy or pity. I would see you gone from this place.
Are foxes territorial? I know dogs are, but I could have sworn foxes are more closely related to cats than dogs, and their idea of territory is not quite the same.
But so long as you remain, your presence is an eyesore. It pains me to witness.
Foxes are canines? Maybe I'm thinking of just how they act.
Thus, I will do what I must to cure it, as unpleasant a task as it may be.
Sorry, there's a lot of misuse of the word cure nowadays. It's a little frustrating.
You will never be one of them, no matter how much you might crave it. Better to embrace what you are and can be. Anything else is a waste of your abilities.
If this was a more action-oriented game, I would think that we were gonna have to, like, physically fight her. Like, declare this place our territory. Like, it might still be something we have to do, but the vibe doesn't feel right. And honestly, with this as a first impression, I really don't want to fucking the power of friendship this woman into an ally, to be honest. She studies me for a moment longer and then turns away. I feel like I should say something, but I can't find the words. Whether from shock or fear, I'm too dazed to do so much as stammer out a denial. Her clothes melt away into silver fur. She transforms back into a fox. I reach out to stop her, but she flits off and disappears in the darkness without a moment's hesitation. The world around me rushes back in, my skin suddenly feeling cold in the night air. The rush of emotions going through my head evaporates, and the adrenaline that was running through me ebbs away. I'm left just standing there, alone. Closing my eyes, I muster the strength that I haven't tapped into in weeks. My bead warms itself as I transform, my body following the same motions as the other Gumihos. I try to start chasing her, but my first steps on four legs are shaky. I've grown unfamiliar with this form, almost stumbling over, just trying to move. Maybe there's a bit of truth in what she said. I take a few more steps towards the brush, but soon give up. Even if I caught up with her, what would I say? What would I do? I'd only make a fool of myself. There's scent on the wind that I couldn't notice as a human, but is unmissable as a fox. I recognize it immediately. From a long time ago, on one of my first mornings here, when I first woke from my den near the mountain and stepped outside and knew that someone had been there. It was her. She really was following me from the beginning. For a long moment, I watched the place where she disappeared. Then I transformed back. I don't really feel like a fox right now. I don't know what I'm feeling. Some of what you said is true. I haven't used any of my talents in a long time. My clumsiness when I'm in my fox form, my own original body, is a reminder of that. As for degrading myself for the sake of others, that doesn't feel true. I spent my entire life living free and for only myself. It's always been my choice to remain here and to not be forgotten. So why do her words sting so much? If I was totally confident in my decision, then they shouldn't bother me, right? Maybe I've forgotten more of myself than I know. The painting at the museum and the other Gumiho herself both prove that there's something different about me. Something that must have come easily to everyone else. The same way all the aspects of daily life at home don't come easily to me either. I feel disconnected, torn between two worlds that I barely know, but can't help being drawn to. Where do I fit in? Where do I belong? I know what Juliet and Aspen would say, but does that make it true? Their home has been my home for long. I've been a thief and a liar for so much longer that I've been whatever I am now. without anything else to gain out here, I slowly start to make my way back home again. The excitement I felt about telling Juliet and Aspen everything I found at the museum has vanished. It'll have to wait for another time. After a quiet walk through the empty streets of the library, I quietly slink inside, trying to keep Juliet from noticing. I just don't feel like talking right now. It seems to work. I can hear her bustling around somewhere, but she doesn't call out to me when I come in. Without a word, I ascend the stairs to my room as quickly and quietly as I can and climb under the covers. It's far too early to go to bed, but I don't know what else to do. If I'm awake, my thoughts will only be a bother. Better to sleep it off. Hope that I feel better in the morning. Yesterday's events, both the good and bad, linger in my mind while I perform my usual routine of tossing and turning in bed before I get up. Now that the shock's worn off, I feel a little better about what's happened. Wonder if I'll have forgotten all about the other Gumiho by the end of today. In fact, now that I think about it, it's possible I had met other Gumiho before and just forgot about them. Everyone forgets meeting me, so maybe it works in reverse too. Rather than dwell on the idea, I'd just choose to ignore it. There's no way to know. I'd just drive myself crazy wondering. Instead, I keep myself busy by making myself more presentable for work. Heading to the bathroom, cleaning myself up using the soaps and shampoos given me by Juliet. She's helped me so much ever since I started working here. Looking in the mirror for one final check before I head downstairs for breakfast, I can't help but think of what the other Gumiho said. How I've domesticated myself. My spotless face looks back at me, framed by fluffy and pampered hair. I can't deny that I've let myself be spoiled by others, content to just go along for the ride.
Snap out of it, Miho.
I lightly pat my face, like I've seen Aspen do sometimes when she's getting ready to start her own job. I'm not sure what it's supposed to accomplish, but it makes me feel a bit more confident. Heading downstairs, I'm treated to the familiar scent of fresh-cut fruit and frying eggs, as well as the pleasant sound of Aspen and Juliet chatting about books. When I enter this kitchen, I'm greeted with 2 smiles.
Morning, Miho. Good morning.
Good morning. Breakfast will be ready soon.
Cool.
I slide into my usual spot at the table and grab some apple slices, lunching on those while waiting for the other 2 to go back to their conversation. Instead, both of them look at me expectantly.
So, how'd it go? The museum? Of course. What else?
Was everything all right? When I didn't hear from you last night, I was fearing the worst.
Oh, nah. It was fine. They even had what I was looking for. There were some more scrolls by my person.
There's loud clatter as Aspen drops her fork in surprise. Even Juliet's eyes go wide with genuine shock.
There were?
Are you sure it was them? Yep, definitely. I'd recognize that style anywhere. I learned a lot about them. Their name is Tony, and they're a scholar. I don't know what they study, though. The museum person didn't say.
For a long moment, there's silence, other than the sound of eggs sizzling in the pan. Both my friends just stare at me, dumbstruck.
What? What are those looks for? You seem awfully calm.
Okay, she did zone out, yeah.
I assumed you must not have found anything, or you'd have been back immediately.
Well, there was some other stuff that happened too. I'll tell you about it some other time.
It's tempting to tell them about the Gumiho, if only because I know they'd reassure me about everything she said, but that's why I can't tell them. Not yet. In a way, I'd just be proving her right. Speaking of accusations of domestication and training, okay, because I know some of the roommates are here to handle that.
Well, alright. We'll be here whenever you need us.
Thanks. Is breakfast ready?
Yes, just smell. Here you go.
Alright, so this is probably not the time when we find out about the fragility of human lives. Juliet fills our plates and takes her seat, and we all dig in. It's a quieter meal than usual, with only the sounds of chewing and silverware scraping against the dishes. I feel like Aspen and Juliet are having a conversation in their silence. Of course they'd expect more from me. I'd expect more from me too. And right after leaving the museum, I was that excited. I am still excited, of course. It's just been tempered a little. I still plan to ask Aspen and Juliet to help me get in touch with Zhang-Yin, but I want to wait until I can do it with a clear head. Once everyone's finished eating, I gather up the dirty dishes, take them to the sink, while Juliet washes the pans and Aspen wipes down the tables. Another routine morning.
I'll see you two later. Thanks for breakfast.
My pleasure, as always.
Bye!
With that, Aspen politely takes her leave and heads out the door. Juliet and I then go into the library, ready to start the day. Or end it, in her case. I head to my spot behind the front desk and begin getting everything ready. Check out sheets, my pens and pencils, my study materials, and so on.
Are you all set, Mia?
Yep, I've got everything I need.
Wonderful. Well, I'll leave you to it then. Have a good day.
You too. Sleep well.
It feels a little strange knowing that there's the game is gonna have romantic plotline, 2 possible endings. I haven't really had too many options of which of these girls to hang out with more. And this is chapter 3. Unless there's a lot of chapters, it does feel very slow early on. And the way Juliet lingers halfway between me and the stairs, I can tell she wants to say or ask something else. She thinks better of it, simply giving me a smile before heading up to her room. I whistle while I throw open the curtains and unlock the door. By the time I've returned to the counter, ready for the first patrons to arrive, I even manage a light melody. I've been practicing my whistling a lot lately, as a way to spend time while alone. Aspen tried to show me how, but she's not very good at it either. I'm pretty sure I'm already better than she is. The sound of it reminds me of the birds back in my home forest. Before long, patrons start to arrive, and I soon have a list of things to do. Books to check in, books to return, books to search for. It keeps me good and busy. The hours pass by in blissful normalness, and I don't have a single thing to complain about. Ooh. There is no major event, huh? I just can't be at home. Well, we haven't really done anything at the bay, so let's head over there. I'm just enjoying a nice walk on the beach when an intrusive thought makes itself known. Sand. How far does it go? Beaches always have a definitive cutoff where the sand stops and turns into dirt and streets, but what about down? How far down can you dig and still get sand? Or is there just dirt after a certain point? And, honestly, Who hasn't had that thought? At least as a child on a beach going, wow, there's so much sand. I'm gonna dig through it. Wait, let's think about this logically. Sand must be a product of the ocean in some way, since it's always right next to the ocean. So sand probably goes down as far as the ocean goes. Huh? But then where do deserts come from? Well, I think it's better if I don't think about this anymore. Damn shame. Because that was an interesting direction for her mind to go. It's a rainy Thursday morning. The library is as dead as I've ever seen it. Even Aspen didn't come by this morning simply because she didn't want to get soaked. We'll see each other later instead. The only patrons here are the ones who don't mind the weather, so I have to make sure they don't drip on any of the books. Before she went to bed for the day, Juliet left a bundle of towels near the door for anyone who needs one. At least it makes my work easier. The slow day means I have extra time to study. I'm able to remember most of the letters by now, and even read a few words. I haven't told Juliet or Aspen about my progress because I want to surprise them with it later. After an hour or so, I set aside my pencil and gaze out the window, chin resting on my palm, and I hope that other fucking silver-haired fox girl does not come in and ruin it.
Huh. It stopped.
It's still cloudy outside, but the worst of the rain seems to be over. I get up and walk to the window, looking around at the soggy view. Leap backward in surprise, something suddenly splats against the glass in front of me.
Whoa!
The fuck is that? Like, I know they're bird people, but I'm not going to go the crass route. Is this our first look at a slime of this fantasy setting? At first it looks like a puddle of water that's stuck to a window, but then it starts to wiggle. Oh, I might have actually called it. I was half joking about the slime. I stare in confusion as a pitiful-looking face forms in its middle and frowns at me. Suddenly, it hits me what I'm looking at. This must be a water elemental. I've never seen one for myself before now. They usually hang out in rivers or lakes, but I've heard they'll sometimes come out onto dry land when it's rainy. That must be what this one did. I mean, at this size and that shape, it might be the equivalent of this world's slime, especially if they're not as murderous, rampagey force of nature as, say, D&D type elementals.
Oh no, you could dry up.
Just like a fire elemental can die if its flames go out, water elemental like this could be in trouble if it doesn't stay wet. The weather might still be damp, but the sun is starting to poke through the clouds.
Okay. Wait right there. I'll go find something.
I don't know if it can understand me or even hear at all. I wave at the window and hold up one finger to try to show that I'll be right back. After a quick peek to make sure there's no patrons waiting, I hurry to the kitchen, dig through the cabinets, hoping to find a pot or something big enough. The biggest one Juliet has is the one she uses to make pasta. That might be too small. Plus, I'm not sure she'd want the taste of water elemental to be there every time she tries to make spaghetti.
Where else?
I could just wake Juliet up and ask her, but I should really try to solve this myself before bothering her. Instead, I start hunting through the other rooms for something that might help. Nothing in the bathroom, nor the library area. When I checked the dining room a second time, however, I noticed a big bowl on top of a shelf that I hadn't seen before. I mean, even water has a taste, even if it's just the taste of whatever's in the water.
Perfect.
So it's why not elementals? Sorry. I have to stand on one of the chairs to reach it, but I grab the bowl filled half full with tap water before hurrying back to the window. The elemental is still stuck there like a very sad bumper sticker. Alright, it looks a little smaller, but ripples with excitement. When it sees me, its frown shifting into a watery smile. Head out the front door and skip around to the window, squelching through the wet grass as I
There you
go.
go. Come on.
Thank you for the chill. Holding the bowl up to the window, I gently press so I brush the elemental in. To my surprise, it doesn't feel like touching regular water. Instead, it's thicker and a bit sticky, like jelly. Fucking slime, called it! The elemental starts to slide into the bowl in bubbles, which I hope is a good sign. It doesn't mix with water in the bowl, but instead kind of hovers, with water both above and below it. When it gets itself fully into the bowl, it almost fills it up. The water sloshes over the edge and onto my hands, leaving the bowl almost dry, except for the elemental itself. Bubbles stop, and an uncertain-looking face peers at me from the bottom.
Alright. Let's get you inside and figure something else out.
Are we going to get to see what it looks like in the bowl? Because I am curious. Hold the bowl as steady as I can and try not to spill anymore as I go back into the library. Just like the guests at the library, I have to make sure not to get any books wet. There's an empty side table near one of the reading chairs, so I set the bowl down there. The elemental seems fine for now, but it looks worried again. Reminds me a lot of Aspen.
I'm not sure what else to try.
Rack my brain trying to think of something I might have missed in the bathroom or kitchen.
Wait! That bathroom!
Oh
That's
no.
it!
Please go for the tub. Please go for the tub. Leaning down from the bowl, I try to reassure the elemental, which is doing its best to stay absolutely still and not slosh.
Okay, don't go anywhere. If you even can.
From the bathroom, I plug up the bath, set the faucet to max. There we go. Okay. Thank goodness.
This ought to work for a bit.
I was worried she'd go too small with the sink, or worse, the toilet. Which I don't need to say why that's a bad idea. Oh god, they created a poop elemental! Leaving the water running, I go back and retrieve the bold elemental this time. I end up spilling more of the water, but luckily it only hits the ground. The tub is about half full by the time we get back, which should be perfect. Turn off the faucet and carefully pour the elemental in.
How's that?
There's a stream of excited bubbles.
Cool. Sit tight, and I'll find something we can use to get you back to the river.
More bubbles. Quickly, but not in as big a rush as before, I go to resume my search on the second floor. Because this place is so big, there's still a few rooms I've never seen. Pretty sure Julia wouldn't mind me going in, since I'm trying to help someone out. First room that I find is a closet, full of towels and bed sheets and laundry stuff. The room after that is locked.
That's weird.
Try the knob again in case it was just stuck.
Nope, definitely locked.
I don't know what's in there. I've never paid much attention to that door before since it's so far from my room. Drop to all fours and try to see under the door, but it's too narrow to see anything. Did you misread towels and swords? I mean... Oh, miss here. I mean, I think I also flubbed towels a little bit, but not enough to where I thought speech to text would fuck it up. Another nearby door isn't locked, and even better, isn't a closet. Aside from the doorway, which isn't particularly bright, it's pitch black when I step inside. Flick on the light switch, but the bulb fizzles and dies right away. Horror movie moment. It only takes a moment for my eyes to adjust the darkness, and what had first just been dark smudges turns out to be a bunch of boxes and assorted junk. The storage room. The whole place is covered in dust. I guess Julia doesn't come in here either. Peeking over one of the boxes is filled with old kids' toys, like dolls and stuffed animals. Another one has some folded up clothes. Guess I'm about to give up. Try another room. A half-covered object in the corner catches my eye. A heavy blanket is draped over a glass box, which is full of more random junk. I haul it all out and remove the blanket, smiling at my find. It's a big fish tank, just like the ones I saw at the museum.
Score!
After turning it over, shake out as much of the dust and debris as I can, I triumphantly take the tank to the kitchen sink to rinse it out before hauling it to the bathroom. Oh boy, I'm sure she has, like, great strength, being a fabled, but that is a multiple-gallon fish tank, and water is heavy. In K6BD, 10 Vigilant Gaze is transcending. Is that the... What was it? The cultivation game you were playing? Because I know you were doing that in the Discord like months ago. No? Okay. It's just the vigilant gaze thing sounded like that. Sounds like a at least lower level cultivator thing. Webcomic? Okay. Okay, you're describing the experience as transcending. That makes some sense.
Look what I found.
When I set the tank on the edge of the tub, the elemental floats up to the top of the bath and ripples. It takes some maneuvering to hold the tank on the faucet. Eventually, I'm able to figure it out and fill it up. Then I use the bowl from before to scoop up the elemental, dump it into the tank. Oh, from kill 6 billion demons. Okay. I've never seen someone shorten it to that. I've seen 6 billion demons. Okay. I was unaware that was a webcomic. I guess it makes sense. Some very good webcomics get print works as well.
Perfect, right?
Oh, and Spinneret. Spinneret's also like that. Yeah, that makes sense.
Okay, let's get you to the river.
I wrap my arms around the fish tank and lift. I nearly tear my arms up. Yep. She's not that strong, apparently.
That's heavy.
I didn't notice when I was just getting the tank set up, but with all the water in it, it's done. Way too heavy for me to carry the front door, much less all the way to the river.
This could be a problem.
And that's what friends are for. Making your problems everyone's problem. To help with. I mean, yeah. But also, I don't think lifting a literal ton would be within the wheelhouse of Gumiho anyway. It seems so perfect, so lucky. Even after dumping out some of the water, I still can't carry it. Maybe an eighth of one? Potentially. That's still above the boundary of what I could assume I can lift safely. Sitting down on the tile floor, I sly. Elemental floats dejectedly.
Miho? What's going on? I heard the sinks and bathtub running.
Juliet is standing in the doorway as I look up, wearing a look of concern on her face.
Hey. It was raining earlier, right? Well, there was this water elemental on the window. I tried to bring it inside so it wouldn't dry up while I worked out how to get it back to the river, but now I can't carry this huge fish tank that I found.
A fish tank? Where'd that come from?
It was in one of the storage rooms, along with a bunch of kids' stuff. I'm guessing they came from the library's children's section.
Juliet purses her lips. I feel my heartbeat start to quicken like it always does when I'm in trouble.
Sorry if you didn't want me to go in there. I didn't know what that room was or what I was even looking for until I found the tank.
The cubic meter water weighs a ton after all. Yeah, no, it's... Physics-mind water is crazy. Being one of the few liquids, and I mean few, that expand when cold, rather than shrink like everything else.
I didn't look inside the locked room, though.
Oh, good, that means it's locked. Juliet's frown deepens, but it doesn't look like she's angry, more like she's sad.
No need to apologize. You've done nothing wrong. Although...
I wait for her to finish her sentence, but it doesn't happen.
Although...
Never mind. It's nothing. Let's focus on helping our friend here first.
She reaches in the tank and scoops a handful of the water before dripping it back onto the floating elemental. The creature seems to enjoy it as far as I can tell.
Any ideas?
An idea comes to mind after you mentioned that storage room. I'll be right back.
Wait, the locked one or the kids' items one?
Okay.
Oh my god, can we put the water elemental into a water balloon? That'd be kind of funny. And altogether lighter. I sit back and relax as Juliet departs. I'm glad she didn't get upset after all, but something was definitely bugging her. I wonder what it was. After a couple minutes, I pick up the sound of something rolling down the stairs, stand up and poke my head out the door and spot Juliet pulling a red wagon behind her. That's right. What is it? What's the brand? Is it Red Rider? Or am I thinking a bicycle brand? It has a rope handle. It isn't very large, but should have more than enough space for the tank.
Whoa, you're a genius!
With a smile, Juliet parks the wagon next to the bathtub.
As I said, you were the one who gave me the idea. Would you mind helping me lift it onto the wagon?
I mean, it's an older place. It might have doorways wide enough for that. I was just thinking, family's home, well, when we had a little red wagon, not every door was wide enough.
Sure.
We each take one end and carefully move the tank. Juliet also brought a number of tight straps to help keep it in place. Once it's all set up, the elemental is safe and secure. I kneel down to get my face level with the glass.
How do you like that?
This time, the elemental shifts into the biggest grin I've seen.
Looks like we've got a winner.
Wonderful. If I watch the library, would you mind taking it back home? You're welcome to borrow an umbrella.
Brango, you got a storm approaching? That's rough, but hopefully, if there is rain, it cools it down far more than it makes it muggy.
No problem. Be back soon.
Taking a towel and umbrella for myself from the front door, lead the elemental outside and onto the path. Excuse me. Windy, overcast, distant thunder. Ugh. So probably not. Well, best of luck, and hopefully you're not in an area that's prone to windstorms, let alone tornadoes, from, well, cool fronts and hot fronts meeting. That it's just merely windy. It's cloudy out, more gray than blue, but at least it's not raining right now. Still, I don't want to waste any time.
Is anywhere in the river okay?
Elemental bobs up and down.
Just the place then.
The old home. Reuse and art assets. Hell yeah. The muddy path slows down the wagon a bit, but it isn't too bad. When I go downhill, I have to be careful not to let it get out of control, but other than that, it's pretty easy. At the bottom of the hill, it's not too far to the spot I had in mind. There's a small abandoned ramp onto the river way back when I was still living in the woods, but it wasn't useful to me then.
Don't know why anyone built this place, but it sure worked out for me.
And the authors. Kneeling near the bottom of the ramp, I wrap the wagon's rope around my wrist to keep it from rolling away. A lot of R sounds. Then undo the straps on the tank. With both hands, I gently tilt the tank onto its side. The water and elementals spill out, flowing down the dirty concrete and into the river. Water begins to churn, immediately bubbling as if something huge is coming to the surface. A rushing sound echoes about the empty area before a torrent of water suddenly shoots upwards like a fountain, arcing clear over me. As I look up, I see the elemental shimmering within the water, catching the light from the sun. For one brief moment, the most beautiful, vivid rainbow I've ever seen hovers before me, so close I could touch it. Tornadoes aren't coming. Well, that's good, because it means it's a little easier for you to be safe. Then the water and elemental crash back into the river, and everything goes still. A smile, certain that I understand.
You're welcome.
Okay. Uncle down by the waterfront. What's up, my man? How's the fishing? Feeling bored, I head down to the waterfront and Mr. Kim's fishing lessons. This will be the third time that I've gone. I was prepared to give up last time, but actually catching a fish was a lot more satisfying than I thought it would be. I'm sure I'll keep doing it in the future too. Guess it makes it one of my hobbies at this point. At the very least, it's been better than just wandering around town. When I get there, I'm surprised to find the fishing spot is empty. Other than Mr. Kim himself, he's sitting on a folding chair with a sandwich in one hand and a book in the other. He sets down both as he notices me arriving.
Hey there, miss. Something I can help you with?
Oh, I was here to go fishing, but it doesn't look like anyone else is here.
If you're looking for a lesson, then I'm afraid the pool's closed. Which is to say, the next one doesn't start for a couple of hours. But if you just want to try your luck with the ocean, you're more than welcome to borrow a rod.
Sure. Thanks.
Now that I know what to do, I don't really need Mr. Kim to walk me through it each time. I should be fine on my own. I attach a lure and then cast my line out into the water.
I hope I don't catch the same fish as last time.
Since there's not much else to do, I look out at the sea while I wait. It's been a long time since I've been on a ship, or even a boat. A long time ago, they were the best way to get around. But ever since there started being airships going all over the world, I sneak onto those instead. While I'm standing there reflecting, Mr. Kim comes up beside me.
No bites yet?
Nope. Nothing.
Maybe the fish all went out to eat.
Like usual, he takes a moment to laugh at his own joke. No risk of flooding, at a 40-foot elevation from the nearest floodplain. Both are very good. It's less natural disasters that can affect you. Hopefully, fingers crossed, hopefully means less likely for any natural disasters. Now that the variety of options are slimmed down.
That's fine. I had to wait even longer than this last time.
That's the right attitude to have. They can keep you waiting for a while.
Your floodplain does flood regularly, though. I mean, yeah, but that's the point of floodplains. They flood so you don't have to. So your house doesn't have to. Yeah, that makes more sense.
You've been waiting for a long time for a certain fish, right?
Spot on. Who told you about that?
I took one of your lessons a while ago. You told me about it then.
Huh. Well, my memory sure isn't what it used to be.
Oof. Dangers of being old, but also danger of semi-regularly interacting with a certain Gumiho.
Anyway, you're absolutely right. Not just any fish. He's the king.
The king?
The way Mr. Kim says it sounds dramatic.
Yes, the king of the ocean.
The king of the ocean regularly comes up to this floating island.
He travels the waters of the world, all on his own. He takes his meals from a different fisher every night. It's said that if he chooses you, you'll have 7 years of good luck.
He winks, giving me a big thumbs up.
Not a bad deal for catching a fish, right?
7 years. Wow.
How much stolen convenience store sandwiches can you get in 7 years? And you might get the best ones with that luck.
Sounds pretty nice, doesn't it? To tell you the truth, I don't care too much about that. But the privilege of being recognized by the king of the ocean, now that is a prize worth chasing.
So, if he's always swimming around the world...
I try to picture it in my head. That's a lot of water.
He only comes by once a year. 1 day is all you get, and then he's on to his next stop. And then the next fisherman.
No wonder you've been waiting for so long then. How many years have you been after him?
Oh, I've given up counting at this point. 16, 17, who's to say? I stopped keeping track at least 5 years ago. I've seen him once, which is more than many can say, but he swam right past our shores. I heard he was landed a few towns away.
I'll bet he must be huge if he's the king.
He's not tiny, that's for sure. His scales are every color at once, and they look like gemstones in the water.
Whoa. I want to see him.
You'll get your chance in a few months. He's due to swim past Wellington a couple of weeks before the new year.
Hell yeah.
You can bet I'll be ready.
I'll try to. What do I have to do?
That's up to you. Some say it's just luck. Some say it's about having the tastiest looking bait. Some say the only thing that matters is where you're standing when he passes by. For me, I try to get to know the fish and the sea. I figure if they trust me, they can put in a good word with the king.
Mr. Kim talks to me about fish and fishing for a while longer, until it's time for me to head off. Although I didn't catch anything again today, I still liked hearing those stories, so it wasn't a waste of time. At the end, he invites me to come back and fish anytime, whether it's a lesson or not. I promise to take him up on his offer, even though I know he won't remember it. I'd like to see this king too. There's still a couple months before he'll be here, so that's plenty of time for me to get better at fishing. With that new goal in mind, I head back home, already looking forward to returning. All day, it's been showering on and off, raindrops still pattering on the roof even now. At least the frogs outside are comfortable, happily croaking away in the dark night. To stave off the cold, I keep a warm blanket wrapped around me while sitting up, watching TV. I don't really understand all the complicated things the presenters are talking about, but it's interesting to see their reports from all over the world. My ears prick up as I hear someone walking up to the door. A series of 3 knocks gently ring out against it. Always 3 from Juliet.
Yeah?
Hey, new outfit. One sec. Screenshot while we can see it. I get the itch for hair from any of the poses.
I'm making some tea. Would you care to join me? I can make some hot chocolate as well.
Sure. Be right down.
Warm drink sounds nice right now. I wanted to leave my cozy blanket. I decided to hold it tightly around myself and waddle down to the kitchen with it. The stairs prove a little difficult, but I manage. Juliet's got another outfit too. Slightly less princely, but still very classy. There are already 2 mugs sitting at the table when I arrive, and the kettle is already steaming. As I take my seat, Juliet pours boiling water into each cup.
You knew what I was gonna say before you even asked me, huh?
I had a feeling, yes.
She pushes my mug across the table, and my hands peek out for my blanket to cradle it. Happy for the warmth, I hold the mug for a while before tasting the steaming hot chocolate inside.
I like the hot chocolate you make even better than the stuff at the Bell House.
Why, thank you. I'm happy to hear that. Although I imagine Aspen wouldn't be.
Do you ever go there? Now that I think about it, I'm surprised we've never gone together.
We haven't. Oh, why don't we change that sometime then? Perhaps we can meet Aspen for breakfast there instead. It has been a while since I've stopped by.
Sure! I've never gotten any food from there. Only drinks.
You're in for a treat then. They serve delicious pastries and sandwiches. There's a particular one that I know Aspen enjoys. Although, I can't remember what it was.
I want to say ham and Swiss, but I'm biased because that's my favorite.
That's okay. I'm sure I'll be fine with anything they have. I can't remember the last time I tried something that I didn't like.
That must come in handy when traveling the world so much, I'm sure.
Oh, yeah. Can't afford to be picky when you don't know the next time you'll even have options.
Have you found a favorite food? Or type of cuisine that you most enjoy?
Not really. Most of the time I just eat junk food or leftovers. Not really anything fancy.
Understandable. If there's ever a certain dish or meal that you'd like to try, it would be my pleasure to help make that happen. Perhaps we could even learn to cook it here at home, so you could have it any time.
Sure.
I toss that to the mental pile of, if there's ever anything that Juliet's offered me. I know she means well, but at this point I can't remember everything she said that about. The two of us continue to chat for a while, and I recount the full day's events with the elemental to Juliet, wrapping up my story at the point where I came home from the river.
Oops. That reminds me. I never put away the wagon. Let me know where it goes, and I can take it upstairs when I go back to my room.
Wagon? Oh, yes. Yes, of course.
Juliet quickly looks away, taking a sponge and busying herself cleaning some loose sugar off the counter, but it's obvious that something's off. I'm not sure what to do. It's so rare that Juliet's the one who seems uncomfortable. In fact, this is the only time I can think of. Other than when I first met her, of course, when I tried to steal that painting.
By the way, who does all that stuff belong to? The wagon and the toys, that is. Were they part of the library children's section before or something?
No, they were personal possessions, not part of the library.
Okay. The mysterious benefactor of ours is finally letting some things loose.
Oh, like from when you were a kid. I'm surprised you managed to keep them for that long then.
Oh, wait. We'll let this continue before I voice my thoughts.
No, not my childhood.
Yeah, no. So, two possibilities I'm seeing. Because she's a vampire. Also, enjoy your lurk, Ringo. Two thoughts. Either she was really attached to this person, and she was already a vampire, and they declined the attempt to be brought into the fold, or the ability for vampires to spread vampirism is one of those myths that they can't actually do in this setting. And she wishes she could have. Both seem like good reasons for why she would not have mentioned it, because it's not a happy memory.
Huh?
The sponge stops moving. Juliet's shoulders slumping as she gives up trying to work. I feel a little bad for making her act so oddly.
If you don't want to talk about it, that's totally fine. Sorry. I didn't know it was sensitive. I'm really, really sorry.
It's fine. You couldn't have known. Besides, perhaps it's only right that you know.
Know what?
She turns back towards me, taking a breath before she continues. Her eyes don't look at me, though. They're looking past me.
Do you remember when, several weeks ago, I told you that I met someone who changed my life? Someone who made me want to be a better person?
Yeah.
Well, her name, my daughter's name, is Cosette.
You have a daughter?
Yes. And she's been the biggest blessing in my many, many years of life. Although she's not of my own flesh and blood, she was my child. I found her on my doorstep one morning, tucked into a basket with a blanket and scarf around her. It was cold that morning. So very cold.
Oh, sorry.
When I opened my door and saw the silent bundle there, I feared that she was dead. But she was not. She was so very alive, and despite the cold, so very, very warm. She was barely a year old, if that. Yet she didn't cry. She could have been there all night for all I knew, but she never uttered a sound. I brought her inside, of course, just so she wouldn't freeze. Beyond that, I was panicked and confused. I'd never wanted a human child. I didn't even know how to raise one. To this day, I don't know why whoever abandoned her chose my doorstep to leave her on, of all places. But how wonderfully, impossibly lucky I was. Because she didn't cry, I thought she might be mute. But that wasn't the case. She had a great deal to say. And as she got older, she would talk and talk. Every word was like music, a melody to my ears only. I felt so fortunate, and so unprepared. I suddenly had the life and well-being of another in my own hands. Her future, her everything. It was a responsibility I had never asked for, and likely would have never asked for if my life hadn't changed that day. She grew and grew, from a curious baby to precocious child, then to a confident young lady, and finally to a lovely woman. I couldn't have been more proud as a mother. Every graduation, every breakup, every smile and tear changed my life. As my daughter, of course it would be true to say that I raised her, but it was mutual. She also made me into the person I am today.
Quick save on that. Oof. I'm not sure I could replay that segment without crying, because it is foreshadowing loss, if she hasn't brought her up almost a month and a half after meeting us. Once Juliet finishes speaking, that breath I don't remember holding. Just as when she'd first started speaking, her gaze is still fixed on the empty wall somewhere above my head. Just like when Aspen gets sucked into one of her books, I can tell that Juliet's mind is somewhere else entirely.
The moment that I resolved to raise her, I made a promise to myself and to her. A promise that I would do all in my power to make the world Cosette lived in, grew up in, a better one that I had experienced. That I would show her how to find the beauty and the joy in all things dark and terrible. In a sense, I ceased to exist as a single person. My life was no longer my own. It was tied, forever and always, to another.
So, all those toys and things.
Yes, the treasures and mementos of another life. Of happy days filled with laughter, of scraped knees and tummy aches, of heartbreak and homecomings. I keep them there as not simply a reminder, but a tribute to those times.
Wow. I would have never guessed any of that. I never knew you were a mom.
Her gaze returns me to the world we're in now. She gives a little smile, but it looks fragile.
Well, I suppose it's not something I speak of very often.
Does she live here in Wellington? Could I meet her?
Juliet regards me with a strange look, similar to earlier, with the elemental. It's not that she looks angry, but like she's thinking about something very hard. I stare back, not sure of what else to do or what I might have said wrong. Like always, her expression soon softens.
She is in Wellington, yes. A bit of a walk, but not too far. You can go in the morning if you'd like. It's been a little while since I have.
Sure, fine by me. I guess it is getting kind of late for a visit, huh?
It is indeed. Speaking of which, I actually have some business I must tend to myself. Will you be alright on your own, Miho?
Oh, yeah, of course. Don't worry about me.
Have a good night then. See you in the morning.
See you. I'll be ready to go first thing.
As Juliet leaves, I watch her go. It might just be me, but it seemed like she left in a hurry after saying all that. Maybe she and Cosette had an argument about something. Or maybe she just didn't want me to meet the other people in her life. I'm probably just imagining it. The way she talks about Cosette is so different to the way I've heard Juliet talk about anything or anyone else. I can tell she cares a lot about her. Hopefully it'll make more sense tomorrow, after I get to meet her. When I finally decide to head up to my room, I take the wagon back first, as promised. I have to pick it up and carry it to get up the stairs, but fortunately it's not that heavy, even with my blanket bunched up inside. Once I get to the second floor, I put it down and drag it the rest of the way to the storage room. After pushing the wagon into its empty spot, I take a proper look around now that I know what this room actually contains. More than just toys, I also spot racks of clothes and stacks of books and all kinds of other belongings. The whole room is pretty packed. Slowly make my way back to the door. I carefully maneuver between a rocking horse and a dollhouse, taking care not to step on anything or knock it over. Taking one last peek around before I head to my own room, I get the feeling that there's nothing missing from Cosette's childhood in here. I can't say for sure, but it certainly seems like Juliet hasn't let anything go. The morning air is fresh and crisp. The plants around us looking healthier for the drink last night. A handful of small puddles here and there are all that remains of yesterday's rain, likely to be completely dried up in a few hours. As I stand by the front door of the library, Juliet walks up beside me and unfolds her parasol, bringing it over her head.
Shall we depart? It's about a 30-minute walk from here, so perhaps we'll take a ride back once we're done.
Yep. Will you be okay in the sun with that?
Yes. It's still early enough that I don't need to worry too much.
Lead on then.
Stepping out into the brilliant morning, I stretch and roll my shoulders. It's a nice day. Not too cold, not too hot. As always, Juliet's steps are measured and even as she walks. Her parasol bobs with each step, making it look like she's wearing a big hat from this angle. I smile to myself at the image as I skip along beside her. Even with protection from the sun, it's rare to see Juliet out in the daytime.
So, I was wondering something. If your daughter lives so close, then why doesn't she come to visit more often? I've been here for a couple months now.
Although she clearly heard me, Juliet doesn't answer. Maybe it's too personal a question, because things are tense between them. I've never seen Juliet not answer one of my questions before, so I don't push it. Juliet remains quiet as we keep walking. That isn't unusual for her, but I still feel a little awkward.
Sorry if I shouldn't have asked that.
No, it's all right. You'll see when we get there, though.
Okay.
We head in a direction that I haven't explored before. We're in the same area as the gardens, but not quite the same spot. A massive green hill watches over us from one side, while trees blanket the other. After crossing a small bridge that runs over the highway, we reach another beautiful area. The concrete path we walk along is lined with bushes and flowers, and the occasional decorative lamps. There are a few houses peeking through the trees which ring the area, but most of the field is still covered in nature.
Whoa. Are we getting close?
Yes, we're very nearly there. This is Bolton Street Park.
She's pretty lucky to live in a place like this, huh?
Ooh.
Even as a child, Cosette had an affinity for the woods and trees.
I get that. I'll bet she would love to be able to turn into a bat or a fox.
I'm taken off guard by Juliet letting out a great laugh. I don't think I've ever seen her like this. A little giggle, or rarely a chuckle from time to time, I'm sure, but never anything so relaxed and sincere. A grin spreads on my face just from watching her.
Yes, I think you're right about that.
There are only a handful of houses around the park, so I wonder which one is Cosette's. Time and time again, we walk on past the turns which lead to any of them. Just as I start to wonder where it is we're going, Juliet slowly comes to a stop. The main path forks into two here. The one to our left, a well-trodden dirt path. There's a sign, but I can't quite read the writing yet.
Everything okay? We're not lost, are we?
Heavens, no.
A number of tall trees shade the path that we're on, giving enough protection for Juliet to slide her parasol shut. She takes a deep, silent breath, then smiles and gestures down the offshoot before us.
It's right this way. Just a little further.
Nodding, I follow again as she leads us onwards. Right away, I notice that something is a little bit off. Juliet's steps are slower and a bit more uneven, like she doesn't want to get to wherever we're going. After a few minutes of walking in silence, she takes one last turn off from the path we were on, leading me up a small hill dotted with trees. And once we reach the crest, Juliet comes to a stop. Still confused, I step up beside her.
Here we are.
Hey, Brazen, I'm sorry, you came at a very sad moment. We just learned that Cosette has a daughter. All her childhood toys and a little red wagon stored in one of the rooms, and we needed to borrow the wagon to help out a little water elemental who got stuck after a massive heavy rain suddenly just stopped and the sun came out. And we put a fish tank in there and some water and helped carry them down to the river. And this is presumably the young woman in the painting that we had attempted to steal the second time we met Juliet here. The painting that she said if we want the frame, we could have it. She just wants the painting itself. And that started this live-in friendship of sorts. And very sadly, she took us to where she is.
Huh? I don't see... Oh.
In the shade of one of the trees is a gravestone monument. Its edges are rough and worn from time, but it's spotlessly clean. There are others like it nearby, practically identical. Words are carved into the stone, too small for me to read easily. I've never visited before, but I realize what this place is. Sorry, didn't mean to click that. I silently mouth the letters at the top, even though I'm pretty sure I know what it's going to say. a C, then an O, then an S. Cosette's grave is preserved perfectly. I'm sure Juliet wouldn't stand for anything else.
I'm sorry. I didn't...
It's okay, Miha. I'm aware you didn't know. But I wanted you to.
This would be the first big bit of Juliet's past that she lets us know about. Known her less than 2 months, but it's nice that she trusts us with this vulnerability. She turns back to the grave, gently running a hand over the curved stone.
My beautiful, precious daughter passed away years ago. Almost 2 decades by now. She lived a long, full life and spent her final moments with those she loved. The last words she told me, the last words she ever said to me.
Juliet's shoulders shake without a sound as I stand there helplessly. She shudders as she takes a deep breath.
Or that she couldn't have been happier.
What was she like?
She was so many things that it's almost impossible to answer. I think you would have liked her. I'm sure she would have loved you. She was adventurous and free, sometimes stubborn to a fault. Once her heart was set on something, there was no stopping her. Everything she did vividly, to the fullest. Even if the very laws of existence told her something was impossible, she would try anyway.
Agreed, Brazen. This is well written and well presented.
She was endlessly kind, with compassion for every living thing, from the smallest insect to the largest, most ferocious beast. She saw the value in all of them.
She gives a small smile as she looks at me, even as tears well in her eyes. I gulp to try and force down my own emotions.
You should have seen her as a child. She would talk your ear off. Both of them if you'd let her. There wasn't a single person near us who didn't know who she was. So open and free was she. That warmth and care. It was the core of her life. If she saw someone in need, she would rush to their aid. It just naturally came to her. If you or I see someone hurting, we may choose to help. For Cosette, it wasn't a choice. It was simply who she was. To know her was to adore her. Every day that went by, I was more and more proud of her. Those virtues never faded a bit. Even on her last day, she was worried for me more than anything. I promised her that I would...
Juliet sobs, dragging her hand across her face. all I can do is watch my own emotions, a storm that tosses me in all different directions. The pain in Juliet's shaky voice, enough to make my own breath tremble. But beyond that, there's something else. Something eating at me that I don't want to acknowledge. Juliet turns back towards the grave, taking a couple steps closer. Unfurling her parasol, she holds it over her shoulder like a shield, guarding herself against the sunlight. She's also able to stand a little straighter.
I promised her that I would live as she did, to honor her memory with kindness and with virtue and with compassion and patience for all. That I would ensure her legacy lived on in the many lives she had touched. It was only in the days that followed her passing, as I wandered lost and alone, that I truly began to understand how much she had saved my own life. The gift she gave me was something I'd never had before. How very silly and irrelevant things such as wealth and prestige began to seem after that. Those were fleeting concepts, born as a misplaced need or desire.
Sorry for the skip there. My hidden hand trembled a bit and I accidentally clicked.
There was something that could be much greater. Something well beyond money and power. Love. As a word, it's difficult to understand. To hear the poets speak of it, there's nothing mightier and nothing softer. Love was either everything or it was nothing. It always seemed so trite, so mature, an attempt to create meaning where there is none. And yet, I've found that the poets were right. They were so right. You and I, Miho, to be able to live on, unaffected by time's curse, must surely seem a blessing to some. But that time is meaningless without something to fill it.
I've quoted it a few times before in various streams. One of the recurring messages in Terry Pratchett's works, not all of them, but in several, of how a man is not dead so long as the ripples that he created in life go on and affect others. A man is not dead so long as the good he did in life is remembered. There's another quote, not from Pratchett, that I haven't said, but I think is equally true and also relevant in this moment. GNU Terry Pratchett, yes. In the 1632 series, I've mentioned a few times, it's a modern town from like mid 2000 in West Virginia. Not a large town, a former mining town that's starting to die off by some crazy phenomenon. Space and time gets sent back 3-mile wide diameter sphere, transplanted to 1632 Germany. And it's a great series. I do recommend it for anyone who likes historical fiction and political espionage, but the fandom's very creative. So creative, in fact, there have been short stories and poems written in universe that have been made canon, collected in what is known as the Granville Gazette side books that take place in the universe but are not any of the larger plots of the main books. And in one of them, there's a scenario where a philosopher from Greater Europe visits the town asking for the greatest philosopher of Grantville. And no one really knows this guy. They think he's just some rich or influential prick, kind of lean around by his nose, until eventually, jokingly, they say this one slightly racist mechanic type dude, that's the greatest philosopher of this town. And through crazy happenstance and with the right people to both act as a scholar representing the town from the future, but also another person in the town who speaks languages, who can translate for them all, who speaks Latin. On the spot, this person who was jokingly called a philosopher to embarrass him before they realized how serious this interaction was, came to two conclusions on the spot that did ring true for him. He was asked what is the greatest goal a man can shoot for and the greatest sin humanity can commit. And he said the greatest joy is to raise a family, to be married, to have children, and see them raised to happy adulthood themselves. And that the greatest sin is a child starved. Child starved of food and joy, and allowed to stay that way. And despite acknowledging both of those and asked if he pursues them, he says no, he has made mistakes, married and divorced, failing to become a good family man who can raise a happy son. He's also failed to help prevent that greatest sin from occurring whenever possible. And I think that message is good. And that is a message I think is very relevant for Juliet in her journey. A random 1-year-old child left on her doorstep, and yet she was able to pursued one of the greatest goals a person can have, to raise a happy family, nice, calm, fulfilling life. And she acts to prevent the greatest sin currently in assisting Miho, of preventing a child starved of attention, of happiness, of food.
To those of us who walk alongside Father Time, rather than fleeing him, it's awfully lonely. When I first became a vampire, I told myself that I had no more need for humans, that I was beyond them. Now, I realize I was afraid. There's a simple contentment and joy that can only be found in experience and age, I've learned. Wisdom does not exclude humans. But to look on as once vibrant hair fades to grey, and as once strong hands soften their grips, as once treasured memories become distant, there is pain. To watch someone you love grow up is beautiful. To watch them grow old is to suffer. Cosette lived into her 80s. A good, long life for a human. Even as her flesh started to fail her, her mind never did. She was sharp as a sword and quick as a fox. For a human, there is no kinder, gentler end than that of old age. And every day, I'm thankful that Cosette was one of those lucky ones. To slip away peacefully and painlessly. As I held that soft, shaky hand for the last time, I wished desperately that I could trade places with her. I would have done anything to give her just one more day. But there was nothing to be done. Cosette passed on with no regrets, and a smile on her face. She lived as full a life as any human could live. And when she was gone, I was still there. My flesh not a day older than when I met her. It was then that I realized what a cruel gift immortality could be. What a slow, repetitive torture if I chose to let it. So for the sake of Cosette's memory, and of the promise I made, I swore that I would continue to live as I had not lived before. For virtue, for friendship, for others, for tomorrow. To die is human. To live is a privilege.
With absolute clarity, the storm inside me calms as I pass through its eye. There's a sense of finality in Juliet's words, which leaves them ringing in my ears as I stumble backwards without thinking about it. To die is human. All humans. Cosette, someday Aspen, but also even mine. My person. Understanding hits me like an arrow to the heart, and I barely notice the look of surprise on Juliet's face as I transform, turning tail and fleeing into the forest. My person, the one I've searched for my entire life, is dead too. Long dead. No matter what happened after they left the forest, the nature of their human lifespan means they lived lifetimes ago. Generations ago. As I run further and further away, one thought echoes above the others. All this time, all these years, all these decades, they've been for nothing. I dig my claws into the earth with every step, tearing at the roots and leaves. I do know the name for the feeling pulling and tugging at me. The one that had taken over Juliet as we stood there. One I've heard of, but never felt until now. Grief. Every lie, every theft, every struggle and hardship, everything. For nothing. The word swirls in my head, a dying leaf drifting towards the ground, falling and powerless to stop itself. Finally, I come to a stop, not even knowing where I am or for how long I ran. I just stop when I lose the will to run anymore, transforming onto my knees. Every decision I've ever made, every place I've ever gone, had all been in service of one dream. Over time, I grew to rely on it. I didn't ever have to think or make a difficult decision for myself. Instead, it was like I had a path to follow, however long. But that path wasn't actually leading anywhere. All it did was take me far away and leave me on my own. Rising to my feet, I look around the area. Although the trees and slopes remind me of Mount Victoria, I don't recognize it at all. Juliet's nowhere to be seen. The sprawling sunlight means she couldn't join me here even if she wanted to, even if she found me. I wonder if she's looking. Juliet, who's always seemed so calm and put together, behind that mask she was hiding all of these feelings. What else don't I know about her? What else is she keeping to herself? Is it just more pain? An ice cold chill runs down my spine, making me shudder as I realize something else. She must have known, too, that my person was dead. She must have figured it out right away, yet she never told me. Aspen, too. Suddenly, every pained look or topic change whenever I brought up Jiang-yin makes sense. They both knew, and were hiding it from me all along. This whole time letting me go on and get my hopes up without ever stopping me or telling the truth. It was so simple, too. So obvious. If I just thought about it for a bit myself, I'd have realized that humans live and die much faster than my kind do. Sighing, I sit down on the grass, wrapping my arms around my knees. I mash one palm into my eyes to wipe away the tears that are there.
Stop crying, Yo.
With a few deep breaths, I manage to fight away the stinging pressure and keep myself from breaking down even more. I sigh again once I'm certain it won't turn into a sob. Now that the initial shock has worn off, the pain in my heart has gone from a sharp stab to a dull throb. Aside from pure survival instinct, death has always been distant and faceless to me. But now I have to look it in the eye. My time with Jiang-yin was short. Thousands of times shorter than the time I've spent looking for them since. Still, It was all I had. Where do I even go from here? The sun is getting higher, so Juliet must have made her way home by now. She might even be waiting for me to come back. We both know I have to at some point. Twitch had a hiccup? Signal strength is good for now. Hopefully it's just temporary. And on their end, not mine. It's getting hotter for me too. Shakily, I rise to my feet and look around again, actually trying to get my bearings. If I have to, I can just go back in the direction I came from until I find somewhere familiar. Come take a sip. I was expecting that to hit pretty hard. I didn't think we'd get that realization of death by way of backstory for Juliet. It was well done. It let the writer dance around it by having a character dance around it, and let Miho come to the conclusion herself, as she might have disbelieved, even if it is pointed out to her. I start walking back towards the library, since it's the only place I have to go now. I may think of it as home for now, but I can't help picture Juliet's sobbing face. Oh. Capture's having issues, 1 sec. Does that fix it? No? How about that? Does that reset it? There we go. Immortal or not, there has to come a time someday where we don't see each other, and that will be the end of our memories together. Or at least her memories of me. The same goes for Aspen, as mortal as Cosette. Aren't I just resigning myself to feeling this pain again someday, potentially even stronger? Maybe she was right. That other Gumio. Maybe I don't belong anywhere. By the time I get back to the library, I'm exhausted from the walk and sun. I throw open the library door and go inside, walking past my empty seat at the front desk. Juliet's nowhere to be seen, only patrons. They've always managed just fine without me, though. Plodding up to my room, I grab my blanket from my bed and wrap it around myself before I lower myself to the floor. That's when the tears hit me again, and this time, I can't hold them back. Slouching onto my side, I don't even try. There's no point. As I expected, in less than a minute, there's a sound at my door. 3 knocks. Always 3.
Miho? Is that you? Are you alright?
I don't respond. I don't even know if I want to see Juliet right now. She's part of this too, after all. She pauses outside for a moment, but a few seconds later, Juliet opens the door anyway.
Miho.
Pity in her voice tells me everything I need to know. I can only imagine what I must look like. Covered in blankets and lying on the floor. I must look pathetic. Childish. Must be how I always look at her.
Miho, I'm sorry. I didn't mean to.
Julia trails off, still just inside the door. I can see her legs and cane, but not her face. I can picture the concern on it, though.
Didn't mean to what?
The words come out as a growl, surprise even myself. But I can't pretend. Not now. She let herself in here. She can deal with it. Her cane sways from side to side as she wrings her hand, almost knocking to the wall more than once.
Mean for you to put things together this way. Such a painful way. I wanted to...
So you did know.
I cut her off without thinking, as she confirms my suspicions. With one arm, I push myself up, letting the blanket fall away from my face as I glare daggers at Juliet.
Pardon?
You knew.
Slowly, I rise to my feet. My head is pounding, and I can hear my blood pumping as anger rises through me, bubbling out like liquid magma.
All this time they've been dead, and you knew, didn't you? You probably knew from the first time I told you about them, right?
She stiffens, then Juliet sighs deeply. It's all anyone ever seems to do around here.
I did, yes.
Why? Why didn't you tell me?
Although tears are beginning to choke my voice again, I manage to shout out my question, my accusation.
I've been looking like such an idiot. I'm already an idiot compared to you and to Aspen. Every day I'm reminded of that. But this really takes the cake, doesn't it? I've been wasting my whole entire life over something everyone else can figure out right away.
Miho, it isn't like that.
Then why? Tell me why you didn't tell me sooner. Or Aspen. She knows too, right?
Juliet nods meekly. My eyes burn, and my nose is running. My face hurts in every way possible.
We didn't know how.
Know how? What do you mean, know how?
I can't keep myself from shouting. I feel so stupid, so angry, and so sad.
Please, Miho, try to understand. We were still just getting to know you. You barely trusted Aspen or me. If we just told you that the person you were looking for was deceased, we didn't know how you'd take it. You might not even believe us, for one thing. Or perhaps it would give you cause to run away again. As the weeks went on, we wanted to, but it never seemed to be the right time. Neither of us wanted to be the one to, out of nowhere, bring your whole world crashing down. Not when you were trying so hard. You seemed so happy. It felt more cruel to ruin that in a way. I'm sorry, Miho. I truly am. It was wrong of me to let it go this long without saying anything, but believe me, I only hesitated out of love. Aspen and I both. We simply couldn't bring ourselves to break your heart that way.
That lot of good that did. Juliet sniffles, and I have to look away. I don't want to see her cry again. Not while I'm already like this. Stooping down to the floor, I pick my blanket back up and wrap it around myself again. Even as I do, I can't help but think of how it's not really my blanket. It's Juliet's. She just lets me use it like everything else.
Go away.
To my relief, she doesn't try to argue. Doesn't even say anything else. She just nods and silently leaves the room. The second the door shut behind her, I collapse into my bed, put my pillow over my face, and succumb to my grief. My everything hurts when I wake up. Damp pillow still covering me. My face and head hurt from crying, and my body hurts from passing out in an uncomfortable position. I didn't even mean to fall asleep. I must have cried myself into it. Yes, the memories of yesterday don't even give me a chance to wake up before they flood my brain, pulling a groan out of me in response. I don't want to get up. I don't want to leave my bed. What's even the point? Still, I know I have to. I have to see Aspen within the next few hours, and Juliet too, eventually. I don't know what to say, or even what I want to hear. As much as I'd just like to avoid everything and everyone, the rational part of me knows that I can't. Instead, my magic and bead force me to conform like always. Either get up or be forgotten. It's not really much of a choice. I sluggishly get dressed and wipe down my face, which is still red from crying. Then I trot downstairs to where we'd normally be having breakfast. Except it's later than usual. There's food on the table for me, but it's long since cold. I can hear the sounds of conversation and movement that mean the library is already open. Life goes on. With or without me. I cram down the slice of cold toast and browning apple without really tasting them, just knowing that I need the nourishment. Then I wander up to the front of the library where Juliet is seated in my spot at the desk. When she notices me approaching, I can see her struggle to decide how to greet me, uncertainty plain in her eyes. I can't decide either, so I just settle for a stiff nod.
Hey.
Good morning, Miho.
Her voice is awkwardly stilted. It seems out of place for Juliet. I gesture at the stack of books next to her and the half-filled checkout sheet.
You can go to bed. I can take over from here.
Juliet shakes her head, looking a little more confident in the motion.
No, it's all right. You're in no state to be working today. Let me handle it instead.
Really, it's fine.
Patron starts to approach the counter, a couple books in his hand. I start to reach for them, but Juliet stands up, blocking me off.
Good morning. All set to check out?
I let my hand fall to my side. Person checking out books looks a little confused, but settles on talking to Juliet instead of me. Fine then. If she wants to, she can do it. She has that same practiced tone of voice when it comes to helping a stranger that Aspen does. Aspen calls it her customer service voice. To me, it's the same as how I'd sound when trying to deceive someone or get something out of them. The only difference is I'm not sure I can pull mine off now, like she can. Then again, it seems like Juliet must have always been good at hiding her feelings. Wordlessly, I turn around and step out from behind the desk, passing by the guest on my way out the door. From the corner of my eye, I can see Juliet watching me as I go, even as she deftly handles the checkout. The fresh air is an instant relief, and I gulp it in as I stretch out my arms, just basking in the sun for a moment. I start walking to the Bell House because I need to see Aspen before it gets too late. Fortunately, we had a late breakfast yesterday, so I have a bit more leeway than usual. I do my best to keep my head empty on the way there, because if I let myself think, it'll turn bad. So instead, I just focus on putting one foot in front of the other, and on paying the minimum amount of attention to my surroundings. Just enough to get me there. Aspen herself is working the counter when I enter the cafe, and she waves eagerly when she sees me.
Oh, Miho! I was just thinking of taking my break early to come see you. Juliet said you were feeling a little under the weather this morning.
I make my way up to the register, staring blankly at the menu. I could actually read some of it if I tried, but I'm not.
I can see what she means. Are you alright?
I shrug.
Yeah, I'm fine. Let me get,
Names of the different drinks that I like all swirl around my head, but somehow picking one feels like an impossible challenge. I wasn't actually planning to stay or get something to drink, I just started ordering out of habit. Indeed, that she lied lyingly. But I get it. In times of grief, sometimes it's nice being able to fall back on routine. But due to her situation with the curse, she can't, even if she wanted to. And she did try, but Juliet didn't let her. Crawl to bed, you think? Over to it? Yeah, no problem, Brazen. Good night. Sleep well. And I hope some sweet dreams to remember or forget. But thank you for the chill. This moment was always going to come, and this story might have hurt worse if it had taken too much longer.
whatever you recommend.
Frowning, Aspen taps something in the machine. I reach for my wallet, but she waves a hand to stop me.
It's on me. Go sit down and I'll bring you something soon. Thanks.
Leaving her to that, I trudge to a booth and sit down, resting my head on my arms and closing my eyes. I could have just come inside and left again as soon as Aspen saw me, but I know that I wouldn't feel any better anywhere else I could choose to go. At least this way I get a free drink out of it. I don't open my eyes again till I hear the sound of Aspen setting a cup down in front of me before taking a seat herself.
Thanks. Again.
Sitting up, I have a taste for whatever it is Aspen brought me. It's scalding hot and bitter.
What's in this?
Coffee.
What else?
Espresso? You look like you need it.
Gingerly, I take another sip, bracing myself against the heat this time.
One of your recipes?
One of the simple basics of coffee.
No, I don't know who invented it, but it's been my go-to for years when I need a pick-me-up. Don't you feel more awake now?
The aftertaste lingers in my mouth, but I drink some more anyway.
Unfortunately.
Yeah.
Then it's doing its job. You really do look a mess, though. Were you crying?
As soon as Aspen takes a second look at my face, I see her take on that same look of concern as Juliet. Raise my cup to my lips again just to hide myself.
Yeah?
There's an awful scraping sound as Aspen slides her chair a little closer to mine. Taking one of my hands in hers, I pull away immediately.
Sorry, I should have asked first. What's wrong? Did I do something?
Her face starts to redden, and I already know what's coming next.
It's fine.
I don't know how to respond, so instead, I opt for a question that's been lingering on my mind.
Do you know who Cosette is?
Cosette? No, I don't believe I know the name. Is she a friend of yours?
She's known Aspen for a while. Definitely much longer than us. The meeting up at breakfast together so often feels like it's something that's happened for a while, and not something you would just do for anyone. Even with this revelation of trying to be more like Cosette. So it means she trusted us with that.
No. Don't worry about it.
If Aspen doesn't know, I'm not going to be the one to tell her. Still, it doesn't surprise me in the slightest that Juliet never mentioned her before, even though the two of them are supposedly close friends. As for my human, though, may as well just get it out there. At least then we'll all be on the same page.
I found out my person is dead.
Oh, she's in a bad way. That's a really emotionless way to say that. Although I've been sitting with that thought for hours now, it's the first time I've said the words aloud. To my own surprise, they came out as steady as everything else. At least I don't feel like I'm going to cry.
Oh.
Finally, I glance at Aspen herself. Just like Juliet, I can see her eyes widen and mouth drop as she tries to think of something more to say.
And you knew, didn't you?
Her hand toys uselessly with an abandoned straw wrapper on the table.
I suspected as much, yes.
I sigh, not surprised at all. I don't even have the energy to be that upset compared to when I was dealing with Juliet.
I'm sorry,
It's okay. Juliet already said it.
Well, I'm saying it too. I'm sorry.
It seems you probably didn't find out in the best way. Not that there is a best way. That was why we were afraid to tell you. We didn't know how... Actually, I'm just going to stop talking.
Really? It's fine.
I cut her off flatly before she can start over apologizing. Being apologized to makes me uncomfortable, like an itch I can't scratch. Putting my chin in my hands, I look out the window to the sunny day outside. It's as nice as it ever is here.
I just wish you would have told me.
In our reflection, I see Aspen nod.
If it makes you feel any better, we were going to soon. We'd already decided, but not on how. I assume Juliet told you.
More or less, yeah. She said something that made me figure it out.
I see.
Both of them just accepted my being upset so easily. Neither of them tried to argue or anything, just apologized. I'm not sure how I feel about that. Just like I'm not sure if Aspen's words make me feel better or not. But also, I have to ask what I'm getting out of doing this to myself, and to her, and to Juliet. Sitting here silently, stewing in my emotions. What felt like burning rage last night now feels less explosive. I do wish they'd been more honest with me, but they were both just trying to be nice. It's not like I haven't done the things they were afraid of before, like run away. If that's the case, is it really okay to still be upset with them? Sorting through complicated emotions is difficult. I like when things are straightforward, and I know to be sad, or mad, or something else. Right now, seeing how sad it's also made Juliet and now Aspen doesn't make me feel better either. If nothing else, I should at least tell them how I feel, or try to. Closing my eyes for a beat, I make my first real decision since leaving for Cosette's grave with Juliet yesterday.
Are you busy tonight? I want to talk with you and Juliet. Together.
She startles at the sound of my voice. I guess she didn't expect me to say anything else.
I'll be there. Just tell me when.
I don't know yet. I have to ask Juliet, but I'll have her let you know.
Okay, that works for me.
I stand up slowly, and Aspen does the same. I can tell from the way she's still fidgety and nervous, though, that something's bothering her. There's a tiny pop as she snaps the paper straw wrapper in half.
Can you tell me one thing, though? Are you leaving?
She's really worried about that, isn't she? I feel a bit more confident about one thing as I shake my head.
No. I won't go anywhere.
There's only one event. It does not let me do anything else, though. So who's this here? This looks like... Oh, that's all of us. I was like, that can't be me, but wait. Yeah, that's Juliet, and that's Aspen. They're looking a bit more pink-haired. We're going to go ahead and save. Both the quick save and the full save. We're just going to save over that, because frankly, I don't want to have to go through those moments again. That really got to me. After getting back to the library, I made the same request to Juliet about being able to talk together. Not only did she agree, she suggested that we go somewhere else, just for a change of pace. We shared a quiet taxi ride up to the Botanic Garden, not far from Cosette's grave. Neither of us tried to talk, which suited me just fine. I spent the whole ride trying to think about what I want to say. I imagine Juliet did the same thing. The taxi driver drops us off as close to the entrance as possible, tipping his hat in thanks as Juliet pays him before driving away, leaving the two of us mostly alone. There are a few people around, but more of them are leaving than entering at this time of the evening. One of those people, a figure sitting on a bench reading, stands up and approaches us. When they step into the light, it turns out to be Aspen.
It's certainly a new feeling to be the one waiting, instead of waited for. Hi, Aspen.
Oh, good. Mia's got some more emotion in her voice now.
Good evening, Aspen. I hope we didn't keep you waiting for long.
No, not at all. Besides, I can hardly complain when it gives me an opportunity to catch up on some reading. I thought about exploring the gardens a little, but I wasn't sure I'd be able to find my way back out.
There are worse places to be lost, at least. Thank you for indulging my request to come here in the first place.
It was a good idea. Not to say the library's gotten boring, but... we never really go anywhere else?
I feel better now than I did this morning. At least enough to make a couple jokes. A lot of things still weigh heavily on my mind, but I'm determined to not just be an emotionless rock. That wouldn't help anyone.
Precisely. I've never been here before either, so I'm eager to see the gardens.
It's been a while since I've been here myself, but I believe I remember a nice spot I used to visit with.
Instead of finishing her sentence, Juliet simply begins walking. Her cane makes a steady click, click sound as it taps against the stone path. Aspen reads off some of the signs that we pass by, signs which I, of course, have never given a second glance at.
Stonebridge Gully. That sounds rather poetic. Perhaps I'll use it in a story sometime. Ah, Pine Hill Path too. Whoever named these gardens was having fun, weren't they?
Juliet still seems preoccupied, not ignoring us, but not seeming to pay much attention either. She does wait while Aspen pauses to read one of the big signs that talk about the gardens. She writes a little bit in her notebook, then scurries back to us.
Sorry, one of the photos there caught my eye and I wanted to take some notes for further research. I hadn't realized there was more to this park than just this one garden.
Really? Like what?
There's an old estate for one thing. Also another garden just for native plants. There's even a cemetery not far away that's apparently part of it.
Mm-hmm. A steady rhythm of Juliet's cane misses a beat, but she keeps walking. After a short uphill stroll, we reach our destination. A small brick path juts off the main road, leading to an overlook covered by a glass roof. There are a handful of benches around, but all of them are unoccupied.
Would this do?
Oh, Juliet, it's breathtaking.
Ringo, welcome back. No rain, that's unfortunate with all that thunder. I never trust thunder or lightning in a storm without rain. It doesn't feel like a bad omen, but it feels like it's more likely that something's gonna like catch fire, you know? Let's see, you missed a really heavy moment that is likely going to color this conversation some. You were here for the water elemental showing up, right? And how we got some answers from Juliet that weren't the whole story of why that stuff was in the room. We learned that she had a daughter named Cosette, and all the stuff in there were things she grew up with a child. The dollhouse, all the little soft toys, the aquarium. And we asked if we could meet her. And because it was late, Juliet invited us to meet her the next morning after the breakfast with Aspen. And it was in a different part of these gardens, where she led us to a small hill with a bunch of trees helping keep a nice, cool, shadowy place for some tombstones. And she told us about how much she loved Cosette. A baby left on her doorstep that she raised with love and care. And in her emotional moment, and about losing Cosette, who lived a long, healthy life into her 80s, and was able to pass peaceably and painlessly in her sleep, Miho realizes what she feels she should have realized forever ago, that humans don't live centuries like she does. And the best of her knowledge, her person was just a human. She ran off, and because it was approaching the middle of the day, Juliet couldn't give chase with all the sunlight. She had to go back to the library and wait for us, forcing us to process our grief alone for a bit. It was rough when we came back. Lashed out a bit at Juliet for not sharing it sooner. But with the discussion with Aspen the next morning, after a kind of tense but brief back and forth with Juliet, Miho seems to accept that they were trying to keep it from her because they cared, and they didn't want her to get hurt and run off and forget what they did, what they shared. And Miho kind of arranged this meetup, though Juliet chose the location, because she has something to say, and I'm not sure what, but yeah. The little piece of Juliet's backstory and how Miho's realized the big secret they were dancing around for her sake, I think it's going to affect this. Though I think we're going to go a little over the final hour, out of necessity. I have to agree. Aspen walks slowly to the edge of the overlook, pressing a hand against the glass as she looks out over the view. I stand beside her and do the same. We're higher up than I thought, with a good view of the rest of the botanic garden from here. I even spot the main gate, far across the same rolling green hills that I noticed a couple days ago tower over us. Though she smiles, Juliet doesn't join us, instead sitting down on one of the benches.
What do you think, Miho? How does it compare to some of the sights you've seen?
It's pretty nice. I like the view from up on Mount Victoria better, though.
Oh, it's been quite a while since I went up there. Perhaps I should see it myself sometime and compare.
You should. You can see the library from the top. I used to go up there to clear my head before I started living at the library.
I'll be sure to invite you along, then.
She lingers for just a moment more, gazing out at the darkening sky, before taking a seat on the bench across from Juliet. Only I stay standing, pacing back and forth. Despite the pleasant chatter just a moment ago, now that we're all here and settled, both Aspen and Juliet sit quietly but expectantly, waiting for me to speak first. Since I was the one who asked them to come here, it falls to me to start the conversation. But where to begin? I've been thinking about that all day, and I've decided that maybe I should just start at the beginning. The very beginning.
I never told you anything about my person, right? About Tongin.
They both shake their heads. Taking a deep breath and clearing my throat, I close my eyes and cast my mind back to the forest all those years ago.
I was just a regular fox back then. I don't know how old I was. Foxes don't think like that. All we know about is eating snacks and lying in the sun. That was all I really did, all day long. No hobbies or jobs or responsibilities. Just existing. I knew what humans were in the same way I knew what leopards and bears were. Big and scary and something to avoid. It was rare to see one in the forest, but it happened. Most of the time, they were noisy enough that you could hear them coming from far away and hide. That was the first thing that was different about my person, Tongin. I was taking a nap in one of my favorite spots, an old log that had fallen over. Tongin came all the way over and sat down before they woke me up. And when they did, I panicked. I ran and hid as fast as I could. I think they were surprised too. They didn't try to catch me or stop me. Instead, they kept their distance and tossed me a little bit of the meat they were eating. I didn't trust them and didn't know why they were sharing, but it smelled pretty good. So I grabbed the food and ran away, and eventually they left. When I went back to my log the next day, Tongin showed up again too. I ran away again, but they still didn't chase me and let me come back on my own. We did the same thing the next day, and the next day, and the next. Then, one day, I was in a new part of the forest. I liked wandering around even as a fox. I wasn't paying attention to where I was going, when suddenly, it felt like my leg was on fire. I didn't know what it was at the time, but I'd walked right into a trap that a hunter left. I couldn't move as much as I tried, and it's still the scariest thing that ever happened to me. I was sure I was gonna die. Finally, Tongin showed up. At first, I thought they were there to finish me off. Instead, they were worried for me. They knelt down and got my foot out of the trap, and then wrapped it with a part of their shirt to stop it from bleeding. That was when I finally figured out they weren't going to hurt me. I kept going to the grove to see them, and they kept being there. I let them get close enough to touch me after that. Still, they didn't do it much. It was only to check on my leg and make sure it was healing okay.
Thomas Brango, take care. More lightning and no rain. I hope you remain safe.
One day I went, and they were waiting like always, but they brought a lot more food than usual. And they gave it all to me, hardly eating anything themselves. After I was finished, we sat together for a while. They sat on my log, and I laid in the grass nearby. Finally, they got up like usual and set two things on the ground. One was a bag of food, the same as they had just given me. The other was a little paper scroll. They patted me on the head for the first and only time. Then, they left our grove. At the time, I didn't think that day was anything special, other than the extra snacks. But it was the last time I'd ever see them. When I came back the next day, they weren't there. I waited, just in case they were late, but they never showed up. The scroll they left and some of the food were still there. Other animals had taken a lot of the food, but they didn't want the paper. I took the scroll with me when I left. I didn't know what it was, but it was theirs, so it had to be important. My only option was to carry it in my mouth. I went back again the next day, expecting them to show up, but they never did. I don't know how many more days it took before I realized they weren't coming back. Once I did, it was all I could think about. I kept looking for them, but I couldn't find them, as much as I wanted to. I didn't even know why I wanted to see them so badly. Just that I did. While I was thinking about that, I started to choke. Something came out of nowhere and was stuck in my throat. Finally, I coughed it up. A bead. I'd never seen it before, and definitely never swallowed it. I left it and went back to my den, but it was waiting for me there too. No matter where I went, it was always waiting. So finally, I touched it with my nose.
She boop with the snoot.
Everything after that happened so fast. 1 second I was there, just a normal fox. The next, I was in this new form. Not sure how or why. Some things came to me naturally, like using my new body and walking on 2 feet, and even how to turn back into a fox. But I still thought like an animal and acted like one. I didn't know any words that I could even think with. I had to learn those, and all kinds of other human behaviors the hard way, after getting chased away from villages and strangers that I met. Over time, I learned how to hide and blend in, and steal, and just how to survive. I followed Jungin's scent all the way to the ocean. I'd never seen so much water, not even close. I had no idea how huge it was. I boarded a ship like Jungin had, not knowing that it would take me somewhere different than the one they took. And I've been looking for them ever since.
When I open my eyes again, they're heavy with tears. This time I don't try to hide them. I didn't mean to talk for so long, but once I started remembering, everything else just came naturally. Turning to face Aspen and Juliet, I see that they are crying too.
Oh, Miho. They sound like they were a wonderful person.
I can see why you never stopped searching for them. They were truly special, weren't they?
Yeah. Yeah, they really were.
Remembering how their hand felt on my head, and the softness of their touch as they inspected my leg, those thoughts hurt as much as the hunter's trap did. But also, they make me smile too. I've often worried that they might have forgotten me, but I don't think they did. They only knew me as a fox before I had any magic, so their memories should have stayed intact. Those days weren't long, but they were special. To me, and I hope to Xiangyin too. So, I don't want to let them become painful memories. I want to smile when I think about them.
Anyway, I'm sorry for getting so mad at you yesterday, Juliet. And for how I acted this morning with you, Aspen. I know that you both just wanted to keep me from getting hurt. But that's another thing, too. It feels like you're always looking after me, or taking care of me. There are lots of things I'm still learning, but I'm not weak. I've taken care of myself for a long time, you know. So, I don't want it to be like that anymore. I want you to be honest with me from now on, both of you. Even if it's something that would make me sad or angry. I promise that I won't run away without saying anything. I won't just disappear no matter what happens. Because if we're really friends, then we should trust each other, right? That's one of the things I've learned.
Having said everything I wanted to, I finally sit down, taking a spot between the two of them. Just like at breakfast every morning. For a second, the three of us sit there quietly. Then Juliet begins to speak.
I hear what you say, Miho. And I agree. You're not the only one still learning things, you know? I have a long way to go to. For years, I felt it for the best to remain open, but guarded. If I maintained a comfortable distance, even from those I call my dearest friends, then I would be protecting myself. By never getting to know anyone too well, by withholding any meaningful details of my life, I thought to avoid the pain of loss again. But all I've done is keep myself from experiencing that joy of companionship again, while even causing hurt to others. I'm not too experienced when it comes to being honest to myself. Or perhaps only honest to a point. But you're right, Miho. That isn't how it should be. From here on out, I'll endeavor to be more open, more real, with both of you. For myself, and for you.
Juliet looks in our direction, but in particular at Aspen right now.
As such, Aspen, there's something that I'd like to tell you.
She begins telling Aspen about Cosette, in much the same way she told me yesterday. I sit quietly and think about what she said. Hearing Juliet describe herself reminds me of me. In the end, we've both always been running away, haven't we? Despite how perfect and put together Juliet's always seemed, she's actually been struggling just as much as me. She was just better at hiding it than me. As Juliet recounts the vow she made in honor of Cosette, I see Aspen is listening with rapt attention, like when she gets really absorbed in one of her books. When Juliet finishes her story, both of them have to wipe their eyes. Aspen rummages around in her bag and pulls out a small pack of tissues, offering one to Juliet before noisily blowing her nose and wiping her eyes.
God, that's certainly a lot to take in. Thank you for telling me, though. Cosette sounds like she was a wonderful person, just like Johnine. I wish I could have met her.
I wish you could have as well. She would have had endless stories to recount, and I know she would have loved to share them.
As for all the other stuff, first of all, I promise, to both of you, I want us to be truly friends as well. I don't have anything quite so dramatic in my past, but I certainly know how it feels to be performative. I can hardly fault you for curating your self-image when I do the same thing. It's kind of funny, actually, and a little scary to hear you talk about Cosette and Zhuangyin. Because
As someone who will one day be past tense, I often wonder about how I'll be remembered when I'm gone. Not that I expect that to be any time soon, but still, I hope that someone speaks of me just as fondly someday. There will be more than enough time for me to worry about that in the future, though. Right now, I'm glad we had this conversation. It was worth the near panic attack I had earlier, wondering what would be said tonight.
Me too. I still have a lot to think about, and I'm still sad. But I don't want to be sad forever. I know it's not what they would have wanted for me either. But I do know that I'm lucky I met you two, and that you're my friends. I wanted to say like that.
My cheeks burn from saying something like that out loud for the first time ever. But I liked saying it, because it's true. Although I'd already made up my mind to stay, it's sitting here in the middle of the gardens that I know I made the right decision. For all the doubts I had, all the struggles, I'm thankful that it happened, and I can finally admit that to myself. Maybe it won't turn out the way I expected, but for once, I'm content with my life right now.
Well said. And don't worry, Miho. We're not going anywhere.
Even if it's not always perfect, it doesn't need to be. Just like Juliet.
Oh, Miho, I'm glad too. The first time you stepped into the Bell House was one of the luckiest days of my life.
Don't need to make poly fanfic. Hopefully they already have. So that they have had plenty of time to do an equally slow burn build-up. Rather than just a quick, slightly less satisfying drabble. Drabble? Okay. So long as the speech text can understand the word. All I have to do is keep trying, like Aspen. So maybe another first time would be appropriate. Hopping up from the bench, I grab Aspen's hand and Juliet's hand and pull them to their feet too. Then, spreading my arms as wide as I can, I pull them both into a hug. Without hesitation, I feel them embrace me in return. From that first day at the cafe, all the way to now. It's chilly out here in the gardens, in the cool evening air. But it's warm, in Aspen and Juliet's arms, and I smile to myself, and to them, to anyone who may be watching, and if that fucking stuck-up prick of Gumiho with silver hair is watching this, I hope she fucking chokes on it.
Mine too.
After spending a bit more time walking around the gardens last night, Juliet and I went back to the library, and Aspen took a bus back to her apartment. Once we got back, I fell asleep almost immediately, my brain finally getting some relief from all the emotions of the last few days. In the morning, once I go downstairs for breakfast, it's pleasantly familiar. Toast, eggs, and fruit, like always, and a conversation about books and work and Wellington. After cleaning up, but before Aspen departs, Juliet clears her throat.
By the way, Aspen, I do believe this weekend is a special occasion. Am I correct?
Oh?
I had been trying to ignore that until now, but yes.
What's this? Writing deadline? Special local holiday event?
Wait, what? What happens this weekend?
This Friday is my birthday.
Oh
A
no.
brutal reminder that, like we just discussed, time won't wait for me.
Oh, Aspen.
Whoa!
Humans have parties for that, right? Are you gonna have a party?
No, I'm not turning 12.
Come on, Aspen. Party! Miho's probably never had... Well, she's probably been at a party, but she probably wasn't invited to that party.
How old are you turning?
Ooh.
Not 12.
I thought parties were a thing you got to do your whole life. That's not fair that only 12-year-olds get to have them.
It's not like that. They're just one of those things that you grow out of.
So what you're saying is Miho's not allowed to have a party, despite never getting a party before?
Why?
The polyfic should have Juliet turn Aspen. I mean... I don't know, should it? Because, like, she didn't even turn her own daughter. I think if it does have that in the polyfic, I think it should be a case of Aspen, like, broaching the subject. Because, like, not even her own daughter got offered it, because I think she would have said, it's like, I offered, but Cosette said no. It's like, some days, even though it's a dick move, I regret not sneaking in and doing it or something. I think if that were to happen, it would have to be an Aspen asks and not is offered. I think that's the most fair to both of their characters. That we've seen so far, at least.
Why what?
Why do you grow out of them?
Your secondhand scaring me, Barango. All this lightning. Suddenly you're going to just stop talking in chat. I'm going to be going, oh no. It's like, is it just the internet or did something happen? If you need to step out or lurk or something, please say so I do not feel the concern. Please. Thank you. Her brow gets some more creases, like she's trying to explain this as much to herself as to me.
It's just part of being an adult. You get older and older and you reach the real world and then you don't feel like having a party, I suppose.
Fingers crossed it's just internet then, not your computer getting fried. Fucking generative AI making all the RAM cost more and more. Grumble, grumble.
When you're young, it's exciting getting older because there's so much you can't do as a child. Once you're an adult, you realize that what you thought adult life would be like isn't real.
Does UPS always help with modem? Or does internet usually require electricity to actually, like, send things, like, along the way? Because, like, I know... shit, what are they? Not Morse code, that's the method they use. Telegraph, that's it. I know telegraph could run as simply as just having an electrified line. But is internet advanced enough that you don't need constant? I'm not going to look at it now. I really want to look at it right now. But I'm sure it's going to be like a Wikipedia rabbit hole that takes like half an hour at least to figure out. So after stream. You have fiber? It's like, yeah, cut fiber cable might? In any case, if it comes to that, I hope it does work. But if it doesn't, we'll both have learned something new.
So instead of being excited that there's cake and ice cream, you start worrying about how many calories are in each.
Oh god, Miho's about to ask what a calorie is, isn't she?
What's a calorie?
Never mind.
You know, Miho has a point.
Yeah, reel her in.
She does?
I do.
You're never too old to have fun, as you both went out of your way to remind me.
25 can be just as much a reason to celebrate as 5.
I suppose you're right. For the record, I'm only turning 24. Thank you very much. Still, I'm not the partying type. Plus, I told my parents I'd go visit them this weekend.
So that means party the night before, the day after?
Just for a day, mind. I'll be back well before 24 hours have passed.
That's wonderful. I'm sure they'll be overjoyed to see you.
I'm sure they will be, at least for a little while. I still wouldn't want to stay for more than a weekend, even without Miho to keep in mind. Longer than that, and my mum and I would probably go crazy. I'm not leaving Welly until late Saturday evening, though.
Five to the 5th power would be a heck of a celebration for any immortal. Let's see, that's 5 times itself, 5 times. 5 to 5 is 25. Times 5 is 125. 625. Oof. I can't do that in my head. I'm going to take your word that it's a 3,125.
Would you mind going with me to the bus stop on that day, Miho? Just to be extra safe.
Yeah, of course.
Even without a party, would you let us treat you to dinner on Friday evening? We can go wherever you like.
That would be nice, thank you. No gifts, though. It won't be a party.
Sure, whatever you say. Brings, like, I don't know, a card with some handmade little thing in it.
That's easy, because they wouldn't know what to get you anyway. Where do you want to go?
I'm not sure yet, but I'll let you two know. Maybe you can come over on Friday evening, and we'll go from there.
Come over? Where?
To my apartment? I do have my own place to live, you know.
It's been mentioned a few times she has an apartment.
And, well, it isn't anything special, but I felt I should at least let you two see it. Only if you want to.
Of course I want to!
I mean it. It's the definition of average. I'm not even sure if it can fit 3 people.
God, I'm so glad I don't have that apartment anymore.
I lived in a dirt hole for most of my life. I can handle anything.
Probably not the compliment she means it as.
Good point. You'll feel right at home then.
I'd love to come visit as well. Thank you for the invitation.
Ooh, that's another question. Oh, it does remind me. So, I had the thought during the scene, well, just before the scene, about whether or not vampirism in this setting can be spread. But in the story of, like, Cosette at the grave, Juliet did say when she was turned, so she was not born into vampirism. Is needing to be invited a limitation as well? Curious.
Great. I'll clean up and make sure the cats are on their best behavior.
Cats?
It's been quite a while since we've had company.
I don't think you have mentioned the cats, ma'am.
I can't wait!
Oh, for sure. The politeness totally fits for Juliet. But it is a question, it's like, is that one canon for this universe? The 3 of us chit-chat for a little bit longer until it's time for us all to split up for the day.
Miho, do you have any plans for the day?
I mean, probably fishing, if the choice is on the map.
Not yet. Why?
I was planning to go see a movie soon. Would you like to come with me?
Movie date, movie date, movie date. But wait. Will Miho get to participate in the age-old movie tradition of sneaking in snacks?
You're more than welcome to, of course, Juliet, but I imagine it's rather late for you.
Unfortunately so. I'll be up a while longer, but I wouldn't be able to make it through an entire movie. I hope that you enjoy it, though.
I understand. Miho? It's fine if you don't want to come along, but the showing starts in an hour, so we'd need to leave soon. I prefer to get there before it's crowded.
Obviously, we're going with Aspen.
Sure, I'll go. It's like watching a really big TV, right?
Close enough.
Precisely. I'm sure you'll have a great time. Have fun, both of you. I'll see you two later.
See ya!
Good night!
With that, Juliet waves goodbye and goes to bed.
Are you ready to go?
Yep, I am.
So yeah, with that, we will go ahead and save it for next time. Whew, what a stream. I was expecting the revelation to happen right at the beginning. Then the other fucking Gumiho popped up and was a dick to us and made us question our existence and bullshit. But we got more background on Juliet. We have voiced our concerns with our friends, that we feel like we're being handled more like a child with kids' gloves than an equal, a friend, a peer. And we are now past that. And hopefully, fingers crossed, this means we will be getting more choices so we can actually participate in the romance portion of this game. Still in chapter 3, but it's probably not going to be too much longer. Unless it's like 2 date opportunities, so we have a chance for both Aspen and Juliet to get to know them both a bit more. Regardless, go ahead and call it for there. Again, I'm just pulling a blank for a custom raid message for today that would not in some way be a spoiler. So I guess we'll just do a normal raid message. I'll go ahead and get that in chat before... Oh, help if I actually spelled it correctly. God dang it. I spelled both. Exclamation point. I. There we go. Yeah, to the BRB screen. And see just who is live. But yeah, it's been a good stream. Got a bit philosophical during the in the middle of the scene where we learned about Cosette and her life and what she meant to Juliet, that I had to mention the usual Terry Pratchett line about how man is not dead until the ripples they set out in the world are gone, until their name is forgotten, etc., etc. Also went a bit on tangent for a similar message in the 1632 series. Also, no idea. Well, actually, wait. All the time I was playing Pronoun Pals, which I saw that recently on Steam, and I'm unsure about if it's something I would like, despite it being recommended. So we'll raid over to her. Yeah, I'll trust my ability right now to properly type. So we'll /raid Molotov. There we go. As always, my wonderful tome readers, I hope you're eating enough, drinking enough, getting enough sleep. Take care of your body so your body can take care of you. And remember that there is someone out there who will miss you. No matter what happens, heck, even if you're a bit of a dick at the wrong moments, you will be missed. Always. I'll see you around a couple of days. was it Wednesday? Yeah, Wednesday. We're doing some Magic Craft because there's a summer DLC, and I wanted to do something summery for this week in hopes that we can forget some of the worst of what's happening. Yeah. See y'all then.